Hi Rowena, I thought it'd be best if I just record a quick video for you, just showing you how to go through and do it all. What I've got set up here is I've just got Sublime Text. I sent you the link for that before, and I'll put it down the bottom of the link in this video as well. So I've just got a folder open here, and what I'm going to do is right click on this folder, go New File, and hit Control S, and I'm just going to save that as form.html. Okay. And we've got a HTML file here. Now the language, it's come up with PHP automatically there, but we'll just leave it as, it should be HTML. It said it's HTML, and this shouldn't affect it anyway. But why I've done that is because that will set up the autocomplete for us, and Sublime Text is really good for this. So when you want to get your page set up, there's a lot of shortcuts. So you just type HTML and hit Tab, and then it fills out all the page structure here for us. So the title of the page, that's what's going to come up in the tab of your browser. So we're just going to call this form demo. Okay, and then in the body, this is where we want everything that's displayed inside the web page. Okay, so at the moment you need to create a form. I'll just go back to your email just to make sure. Right, so it's just a feedback form with the URL, username, email, a couple of checkboxes, or radio buttons, checkboxes, and a drop down, and then a send and clear form. Okay, so what we'll do now I think in the email, the demonstration they give you, they use tables. I prefer not to use tables to lay out things. I think you can do layouts, particularly with forms, without tables. It's just as easy. So I'm going to do this example without a table, and I'll show you how you can style that later. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do with the form is create the form element. Okay, so you just type in form. Now with Sublime Text, there's a lot of shortcuts. So once again, you just type in the name of the element and then hit Tab, and it auto completes it for you. Okay, so once we've created our form, we want this form to be a form that you put in details to, and it launches your browser. So to do that, you have to put a few properties inside, or attributes rather, inside the form element. The first one is you want a method. Okay, now the method is post. You can use post or get. I'll put post in there for now. Action is mailto. Now that's important to write mailto and colon, and then you put the email address. Oh my god, I can't spell example. Example at example.com. Alright, so that's the email address it's going to be sent to. Typically, if you're a business, you would put your own business email address here, because that's what you want people to send an email to. The last one is the encryption type. Oops. Encryption type, and that is text and plain. Okay. Now another handy thing about Sublime Text is it color codes all your things. So your elements are this orange color. All right. Your attribute names here are green, and then the values of them are yellow. And you'll notice if you stuff up and you don't put one of these closing quotation marks, you'll see what happens. The action changes color. So you see all your colors are mixed up here. So that's how you know that you've made a mistake in your coding, and that's why text editors like Sublime Text are very handy. Okay, so now we've got our form set up. All right, what we want to do is we want to start making our inputs. Okay, so we type in input and hit Tab. Now input's one of those elements that doesn't need a closing off tag. You can just put the opening tag there like that. Alright, now with inputs, you want to type in what kind of input it is. So we say type equals, and this one is a text input. Okay, value equals. Now I believe in your example, they've already got the value coming up there, okay, to prompt people. So value is http // okay, save that, and then they've also got colon your email after it there. So I'm just going to copy exactly what they do there. So your email. Alright, so once I've saved that, alright, if you right click in Sublime Text, you can go to open in browser, and then that's going to launch our form in our browser. And so you see here we've got our input, which is type text, HTTP, which was that value comes up there, and we've got colon your email. Okay, so form is starting to take shape. All right, we'll keep going with it. So The next thing we need to do is your username, so that's also a text field. Your email. Now this is going to be a type email, and I'll show you why that's different in a second. So I'll go ahead and create some of those now. Alright, you need to put in a break. So if you hit BR, make sure you do a space after your email, and that will just create a new line. I like to separate my breaks onto a new line anyway, so you can see it more clearly. Okay, then we want to go input, go inside here, type equals text. Now we don't want a value inside this one. What you can do, which they haven't done in your example, but you see in a lot of forms, is an attribute called placeholder. Okay, placeholder, and then you can just put in your, or an example, so username, J, or let's put your username, your username. Put another break in, and I'll save that, and we'll go back to our browser and I'll just show you what that looks like. So if we hit refresh, and then you've got your username. Now you see your username is placeholder text, so when you type that disappears. Okay, whereas here that's a value, so it stays in the box. Okay, so that's just a little info for you. Alright, after we've got that, there was the email. Alright, so we've got a break, so we want another input, and we want this to be a type equals email. Alright, now the reason we use email in there instead of text, you can use text and that's fine, but now the modern browsers actually do a little bit of validation for you. Okay, so if I save that, and now we go back to our form and hit refresh, we've got your email. Now, actually I need to put a submit button in here just to actually show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to put the submit button in, input, type equals submit, value equals send. Okay, value on the submit button will just be the text inside the button itself. So now we've got our send button here. So if I put in some information in here, and that can be text, but if I just put in information here and hit send, the browser does this validation. It says you need to include an at symbol in there. So my email address has to have one of these, then some more text, then a dot, and then something else. Okay, and then that will work. Okay, you hit send, launches the browser. See, so that's working. All right. So we'll go back to our form. Okay, now the reason that was on the same line is because we didn't put a break in there. So we hit break in there like that. All right, so now we've got those three. I'll just go back to email, see what we need. Okay, we've got a subscribe and unsubscribe button. Okay, so we're going to put those ones in there. Okay, so this is an input, and that is a type equals, I think it's radio. Oops. Type radio. Yeah, I think that's it. Subscribe. Okay. We'll refresh. Yep, there we go. So we got our radio button there with subscribe on it now. So that's that. What you can do, so we'll create two radio buttons. Type equals. See how it went green because I didn't put the quotation marks in there. Radio. Unsubscribe. Now, if you want one of them to be checked, you just simply type in checked inside the form like that, just in the green by itself. If you go to the form now and refresh it, see subscribe comes up as already checked. Okay, now if we want them on separate lines, once again we'll just put in a break here. Oops, I'm just using the free version of Sublime Text here, so that's why that notice came up. Alright, so there we go, subscribe and then unsubscribe. Put in a break. Okay, so that's those two. And we're moving along. I'll just see. Where are we? So I'm just going to you. Okay, so now we want checkboxes. I can receive emails or send me a receipt for this email. So similar thing. Input type equals checkbox. Let's see if that works. Yep, so checkbox, I can receive emails. But I put my submit button here, so I'll just take that out. Okay, we'll do another checkbox. Just going to copy this. And this one was send me a receipt for this email. Oh, emails is HTML, that was. Send me a receipt for this email. Okay. Now we've got an option here. Okay, so that's a select element. So what we're going to do with that one is we type in select. Okay, and then inside our select element, we have option, and that would be option 1. Oops. Option 2, etc., etc. So we'll go and do that. Okay, option 1, option 2, and you can just put more options in there, and they'll just keep pushing those further down. And then the last thing that you had down there is a text area. Now text areas are different, they have a closing off area there. Okay, and the text area is where people can type in. It's a larger box. So fresh. Oops, I didn't save it. In Sublime Text, when you have that circle there, it means you haven't saved your page. So that's our text area there. Now our button's still on the same page because we didn't put a break after that. And the text area says please leave some comments. Okay, so inside the text area, to put that text in there, you just put it in here. Please some comments. Alright, so that is our form. I'll just check it out here, refresh. Okay, subscribe, unsubscribe. Got some checkboxes here, some options, and please leave some comments. Now, if we want to make the text area bigger, okay, you use col attribute. So that's the number of columns, and we want to say, I don't know, let's say 20 and row equals 5. Refresh. Did I save it? Text area. Oops, must have made a mistake there. Alrighty. Alright, look, I'm just using the free version of Screencast-O-Matic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here, and I'll come back, because this form, if we hit submit here, this form doesn't actually send anything. Okay, so if you see my email here, it's got no body in it, because even though we've set up our method in the mailto, we haven't actually sent any variables or any values from these checkboxes back. So I'll come back in the next video and we'll just tidy up some of this and put in some of those values so it actually populates our email form when we hit the submit button.